Hey, book talk. I want to talk to teachers, authors, readers, and parents for just a minute. So if you're one of those, please stick around. Especially let's talk to the teachers, okay? I want to talk about me, not who I am today, not as the writer who I am today. I have 12 publications in 4 years and 4 months. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I tell you that because you need to know who I was. I was that student that was the underachiever. I did not want to do the effort. I wanted to procrastinate. I had attention deficit disorder so bad, and I was so hyperactive. I gave every single teacher fits. But I know for a fact I gave one in particular a migraine every night. I don't know what she would do to get over me every night, but I was not her favorite student. That I know for a fact. She told me. So let me tell you what not to do with a kid like me. A kid who's very creative, highly intelligent for his age, loves to be creative, but maybe doesn't always follow the rules or doesn't always pay attention to the rules. So here's what happens. She gave us a warm up with pictures. Of these pictures, we would have to tell a story for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, real short, sweet, to the point, move on. I loved this game. It was my favorite game, played it 2-3 times a week. I had just gotten back from a ski trip that spring. This was like right around spring break. I had never skied before. I was terrified of the ski lift. I loved it. It was so much fun. I had fantasized the whole trip about falling off that lift. She held up a picture, no joke, of an empty ski lift seat. And it's just kind of floating there, kind of going up. You can just imagine it going up the mountain. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I got this. She is speaking to me right now. This is my story. So I tell this elaborate story, a comedy, mind you, about the man who fell off the ski lift. Class loved it. She was amused. Ha, ha, ha. Good story, Tom. Let's move on. A couple days later, we're playing the same game. She totally randomizes the picture. She holds it up. My eyes get big. It's the ski lift. I'm like telling my story. And I picked up right where I left off. And then this happened, this happened, this. I'm going on and on. I'm done. She's perturbed. Kids are still laughing. It's still funny. She's perturbed. It happened one more time. The next week, she held up this picture. It's the ski lift. I picked up right back. Now, ski patrol's here, and this happened, and this happened. And then they dropped him, and he slid down the mountain on his little, on his little backboard thing. And he's just going down the mountain on that. They're chasing him. Funny story. Teacher is not amused. About a week and a half, 2 weeks later, we're playing the game again. I watch her pull the picture off from the other kid. And she saw my eyes, and my eyes, they got big, and I'm just like, I know what I'm about to say. And she goes, oh no. She looks, she takes that picture, and she rips it up in front of me. My little 12-year-old heart just went, thrown away, like Justin Bieber style. So here I am. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to tell another story. She just destroyed that picture. It doesn't exist. She picks up the stack and she says, now try harder. I'm like, yes, ma'am. She picks up a picture and holds it up, doesn't even look at it. I swear that was her biggest mistake. She should have checked before she held it up. Teachers, take note, always look at it, okay? She holds it up, and no joke, it's a hospital bed, an empty hospital bed. I'm like, I'm in storytelling heaven. I pick up right off the bat, this happens, and wife, and blah, 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 like boss, blah, blah. I'm telling this story. She's furious. She threw away all the pictures. We never played that game again for like the entire year. I had ruined it. All the kids are mad at me. I'm getting like aggro from all my peers, shame on you, you ruined this. And I'm like, I was just doing the story. I was doing what you told me to do. Here's the kicker. She called me in after class and she said, Tom, you're not going to be in this class anymore. You're not creative. Your writing is atrocious. I can't even read it half the time, which I found out later why. A lot of that goes with my ADD and stuff like that. And she says, I don't want you in my class. I'm like, fine, lady, I don't want to be in your class. And I stormed out. I never wrote anything fiction again. Not in high school, not in college. I went off and joined the Navy, and I tried. I had my first word processor. I tried typing. I wanted to create a story. I wanted to be an author. I loved writing. I would quit. I quit on myself because she had quit on me. I'm not blaming her, but that's the effect teachers can have on kids, is they quit because they believe the adult who told them they're no good. So years later, I actually published my first book. I tell a little bit about that on some other videos coming out. But I published my first book and put myself out there in the world. Short story, or long story short, I made sure that her daughter, that teacher's daughter, because that teacher's still alive, got a copy of that book and let her mom know that I published it and was able to write it because of her mother was so instrumental to my development as a writer. So just not necessarily a positive one. But again, so teachers, parents, don't squash writing in kids, and especially if, as other authors, or as an author, other authors can attest to this, all the time writers come up to us to say, or readers come up and say, hey, I'm an aspiring writer. And it's like, great. My first answer is awesome. The worst story is the one not told. The absolute worst is the one that never gets written down. And another quote I once heard, your rough draft is just you telling you the story, so get it down so you know the story. And do it well. Just get it out there. Doesn't matter if it's perfect. There's no such thing as bad writing. Every writing is a rough draft that can be polished and fixed. So I encourage everyone to write. If you're a reader and you want to write something original, write something original. If you want to write fan fiction, write fan fiction. If you don't know what to write, journal. Start putting your thoughts down. At least hone your craft. If you never want to write and you just want to be a reader, read everything you can get your hands on. But if you're a teacher and you have a kid like me, do me a favor. Don't give up on that kid, because you never know what they're going to accomplish. And, they just may someday be sitting with a whole shelf of books that they wrote. So thanks, Book Talk. I took a lot of your time. See you later.